Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Built in the Bayou. Today, we have another really special guest, of course, a long-term employee here at Skyjacker, and he's actually our purchase manager. And as I was preparing for this episode, I got to realizing how much the purchasing manager is involved in. Like they're like on the intersection of money, inventory, global economics, having to deal with the suppliers, so many things across the board.
Yeah, good point. And somebody like a purchasing and production manager, I mean, they have to know what raw materials we need, how much to buy said raw material, the best price, shop the prices. So there's so much that goes into it, and also cost structure for us to know how to price our parts the right way for our cost.
Yes, and especially because we have two businesses here, essentially,
Yes.
being Skyjacker and SJ Manufacturing. So it's twofolds to that. And I think sometimes that, for me at least, until I started really digging into what he does, I was like, oh, this position I feel like might be overlooked in a sense. Or not underappreciated, just overlooked of what all they actually do.
Absolutely.
So
with that, we'll welcome Mr. Michael Graves.
yes,
Good morning.
we're so glad that you're on.
Yes.
Glad to be here.
Yes.
So, Mike, why don't you just give us a little backstory, a little history, what got you here, what you did before here, all that kind of.
Previously, before I came here, I was 17 years in retail automotive parts.
Okay.
So came from an automotive background. Started here in sales. Did sales for a little while. Worked my way up through the sales department to sales manager. And a few years after that, the purchasing job came available, and I was like, I want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's kind of
So-
similar to what you did in the auto parts business, correct?
Yeah, similar. Originally, I got into auto parts. It's kind of ironic because originally I got into auto parts for that reason. I wanted to work my way up through the automotive industry and be a purchaser for the automotive industry.
Yeah.
It's a real tough gig to get in because, it's kind of like professional sports. You got several people rooting for the same job, and
Yeah.
if you don't want to relocate, it's kind of hard to do it, because you got to go to the corporate world. But
I was going to say, especially in our area.
yes, in our area, you would have to relocate, so really wasn't an option. So when this came available, I was
Yeah.
like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Well, how many years have you been here total?
I came here in May of 2002, so it'll soon be 25 years.
Yeah.
A little over 24 years.
Yes. He's one of our non-family member employees that has been here at that 25-year mark. So that's really awesome. We have a handful of that group. You came in with a good group that's about that same time.
Yes, there were 3 or 4 of us that came in that 2002. From what I understand, that was a pretty good growing period for
Yeah.
Skyjacker. And to my knowledge, we're all still here.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah. Again, I don't want to make myself sound too young, but I was 2 years old when Mike came over.
I do remember Evan running around here in diapers. I sure do.
Oh, my
I
gosh.
appreciate you pointing out how old I am.
Or how young we are.
Yeah, let's go.
Well,
with
him,
that.
I'm in the middle.
Let's go with that. How young y'all are? I'm not old. I'm just older.
That's right.
Well, okay. So for someone who is in your role, give us some background and some things of what you actually do here that somebody might not know what you do. Because I think for me, when I was looking into some of the stuff you do, you really do touch and have to be aware of so many parts of the business.
Yes, correct. What a lot of people think is in the purchasing world that you just buy stuff and when it gets here you're done. That is absolutely not the case. If my job was just purchasing, it would be just roses.
Yeah.
You basically have to go start to finish. You have to order the raw materials. First of all, you have to communicate with R&D to find out what raw materials you need for if it's a special project or anything like that. If it's not something that we already stock, so you have to do that. You have to get those parts in. So you have to be knowledgeable with R&D. Then you have to get the raw materials. Then once you get them here, you have to instruct the fabrication, whether it be machining or welding. You have to instruct them, okay, this is what we're going to do with this. So, you basically have to follow it start to finish. Even when it gets finished, most of our metal parts, they have to be coated, so they have to go to either dichromate or they have to go to powder coat. So you have to follow it all the way through, because if you don't, it's just one step gets lost, then you're sitting there a month from now going, okay,
Yeah.
why don't we have this yet? So it's a start to finish process.
Yeah, and with you being our purchasing and production manager, you're involved in a lot of the production, and kind of like what we just touched on. One of the aspects too on new products is you have our weld cost in every part, our bend cost.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a believe it or not, it's actually a pretty tedious little process, because first of all, you have to know how many pieces you can cut out of a sheet for your laser process. Okay. So you can get your cost of your raw material from your laser. Then you have to communicate with the welders. Okay, what's the time that it takes for you to fit this in the jig and weld it up?
Yep.
And all that's calculated in it. Then you have your coating costs that you have to add to it. And then I also, being the production manager on new products, like you say, every kit has to be boxed, and it's boxed personally by me, because I know I can get with the warehouse staff and say, okay, this is a new product. This is how we're going to box it. This is how much it weighs, and make sure that it's a continuous thing, that they don't just box it however they want.
Right.
Well, and recently, especially like because we do so much shipping. We have so many accounts with like FedEx, UPS, all those guys. Their policies and fees constantly change. So then you have to constantly know how we have to package in order to save money versus how the customer or the dealer actually wants to receive their packages.
Oh, absolutely. Especially what we sell is not light.
Right.
We're selling lift kits. It's all metal parts, so it's heavy. So you can't take a full-size truck lift kit and put it in one single box. It has to be in multiple boxes, because FedEx and UPS and all those guys, they frown on heavy boxes, and what they'll do is they'll actually upcharge you.
Yes.
And
we've seen that a lot
not
lately.
only is it upcharging us, but it also upcharges the customer.
Right.
And the customer doesn't need to pay that. So what
Right.
we do to kind of guard that is like I said, I box them up. So I try to keep every box as close to or below 50 pounds as I can, because that negates all that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I remember 2 or 3 years ago, the fee for that 50-pound up dramatically increased.
Oh,
And so
absolutely.
it kind of changed.
With us being in Louisiana, let's just say you're going to ship something to Washington State, which is pretty far from us. I mean, you could pay as much as $100 to $150 upcharge for a lift kit.
Yeah, and I think that's what the shipping on the website, and when we do our direct sales, people don't understand, because we recently made a change on the website for our free shipping. You have to hit a different number in order to get free shipping. I think it's hard for the consumer or the customer to understand that we get hit hard with big fees, and we have to adjust. Otherwise, we can't continue to do what we're doing.
Right, and all that also stems from, I mean, let's face it, everything revolves around oil prices.
Oh, yeah.
So if the oil prices are high, then the shipping's high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they've got to transport it, so they're not going to eat all that. Loss. So they have to make adjustments.
And another thing you said that's important too is when you're boxing everything for new parts, you're also pulling all the volumetrics. So that way, that gives us our weights, our dimensions of the boxes.
Yeah, absolutely. Part of the process is each individual part gets weighed. Yeah. I note that down, and I enter all that into the system. So if anybody, sales or whoever, they look, then they can say, if we need to ship this, they can figure out how much it is to ship. And then once that's done, then you just start packaging the box, and once that's done, then it gets all entered into the system: the box size, dimensions, volumetrics, weights, the whole 9 yards.
And like for direct sales off our website, that lets our website calculate. If you want like overnight, it gives you a cost for that. If you want 2-day shipping, it gives you a cost for that. And so that's really helped on the direct side too for the website sales.
Yeah, because until COVID, we didn't really sell much on the website. It wasn't a seller site. It was more of a consumer, more informative site for dealers or people to get information. And I remember a bunch of, like, in our management group meetings, people were like, well, we want to sell this, this, this. And Mike's like, we don't got no volumetrics. Like, we can't. And Mike Ardwan, who is our IT like specialist manager, he's like, we can't sell anything on the website unless I have this, 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 this. And so then it's funny because they're like, yes, we got there, but a lot of those things fell in your lap.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. It's before that we were primarily focused on wholesale business, and it's not something that we had to really track,
Right.
Because it was all palletized merchandise, and you shipped a little box here and there,
Sure.
drop ship something, but most of it was palletized product.
And we have a lot of products.
We have a lot of SKU numbers. Yes, we do.
Can you give us an estimated number of SKUs?
I do not know the exact number, but right now I would say it's probably in the upper end of 5,000.
Yeah, I think we're nearing like 7,000 ish.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
And so to go back on, because I was a part of the image process on that, and I know you helped on the data side of that. It's like, that was a big effort push that everybody had to like be hands-on with, like you with all the volumetrics and different shipping things, images, then Mike for data, and you with data. It's like, ooh, we finally got there.
We did, and we didn't understand that at the time, but we understand now that the data is valuable. I mean, it's king.
Yep.
If you don't have the data, you can't sell it.
Nope. Well, I'm not buying anything without a picture or info online.
With everything being, online based now, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
If I shop and there's something there and there's no picture, I'm like, I'm not real sure what I'm getting.
Well, this gives us a good entryway into some of your personal life hobbies. You bow hunt.
Absolutely.
Yes. And so I want you to tell us a little bit about the things you like to do with your family outside of Skyjacker. But you wouldn't be buying a bow or any of your bow things without volumetrics and pictures, would you?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
For our gun and bow enthusiasts in the room.
You don't know what's the latest and the greatest and what's out there unless they drop a little YouTube video or something like that.
Right.
So it's definitely a factor in purchasing stuff for sure.
Well, give us a little bit about what Mike likes to do, his hobbies. We have some of his hobbies in here today.
I'd love to shoot archery tournaments. I love to bow hunt. Love to do stuff with my family. Yeah.
You're a huge supporter of our hometown hockey team.
I do.
Louisiana does have a hockey team, everyone.
I do love our local hockey team. They were originally here back in 2000.
Yeah, it was something. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was the first time that hockey had ever come to Louisiana that I'm aware of, and we just didn't know what to do. We had never experienced anything like that, so it stayed around, I think, 4 years, and they brought it back last year, and it's really taken off. I mean,
they have a big support group.
A lot of the community.
It really is. It's a professional hockey team. It's the FPHL, and they're averaging probably 35 to 4,500 spectators.
Yeah. Which is great. I mean, for our area, it's consistent. That's
For
great.
our local arena, it's fantastic.
Well, and Monroe, West Monroe kind of lacks things to do, so that's a good thing.
So that's my winter. That's my wintertime hobby, and then my spring and summertime hobby is I love dirt track racing. I like to watch.
And mow in the yard.
That is therapy. I do love.
I was going to say, you got to have some therapy for being in your job. Okay, what's the therapy here?
That is my therapy. I do love to mow.
Well, I can say if you are anything, you are loyal because you are out there at that racetrack, rain or shine, if there's a race going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, your son-in-law races, right?
Yes. Yeah. My son-in-law, he races a limited modified car.
Okay.
So, we go out there and support him. And actually, that's how my daughter and him kind of got together. Is we were going to the dirt track races.
Oh, okay.
Well, there you go. You see?
And,
Nice.
She started, showed an interest in him. And, one thing led to another, and they got married. And
Now you're expecting a little grandbaby.
I am.
right?
I'm fixing to be a papaw in
Come on.
November.
Yay.
So I'm
Come
super
on.
excited about that.
Hopefully after SEMA.
Yes, definitely after SEMA for sure.
So, Mike, to go back to kind of your job function too, I know part of it is forecasting for how many raw materials you need to purchase and all that kind of stuff. So, just kind of will you just line that out, kind of your decision making process?
Yeah,
On,
I mean, it's based a lot on trends.
Mm-hmm.
We track trends of whether it be how many we sold last year, how many we sold in the last 6 months, how many in the last 3 months, and it all bases on how the economy is kind of going.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to have I call it the crystal ball. You have to look in your crystal ball and say, okay, these did good last year, but they're trending down. So you don't want to quite fill the bucket quite so full.
Right.
So you look. It's a lot of analytics. You just look at past sales is your best guide. Now new products, you just have to feel the market and ramp up and
Yeah.
because you definitely you don't want to start out with something new and then not have it. So
Well, it's an important thing because you're in a position where you spend probably some of the most money of the business.
Yes.
I spend a lot of money.
Thank you. The marketing budget is not the biggest spender.
Yes, I spend a lot of money.
So it's just a balance of not overcommitting but having enough of what we need. Not
Absolutely,
to,
yeah. And I tell people all the time, when they ask me what I do here at Skyjacker, and I tell them, I said, I spend other people's money.
Yeah.
Well, you spend it well.
Yeah. So, but like you said, it's a fine line because I look at it from a standpoint of, that's what I tell people is I look at it from a standpoint of, I look at it as if it's my money.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my money, but I look at it as if it's my money.
Well,
So-
I think that's great. I think
Yeah.
that's something that any boss would want their purchasing manager to think.
Yes, because I've been in this industry a long time, and I've known a lot of purchasers, and I know I've seen a lot of them come and go, and you
Yeah.
hear some of the horror stories of he just spent too much and
Yeah.
basically put us out of business. But
Yeah.
definitely don't want that. But I mean, the best way I could tell you is I just treat it like it's my money.
Yeah.
It's if I don't feel like it's necessary to spend that much money, then you just don't do it. Now you have to have enough raw materials to do, the basic necessities. But again, it's the crystal ball thing. If you feel like it's going to move, then you take the chance and buy it. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. But
Yeah.
Well-
you just don't overcommit. That's the biggest thing.
Well, and I was going to say that kind of leads into the next question that we had is just because this is relevant to something we've dealt with for the past probably 2 years, maybe not that long. You'd have to correct me. But what happens when something happens in the world that directly affects your job? And you know what we're talking about here.
Yes, yeah. Well, let's just say that everything that we do is basically either steel, polymer. They're fuel related. So if oil prices are high, raw materials are high, transportation's high, and it's not just in our industry. It's everywhere. You see it at the grocery store. Everything is more expensive when oil prices are up.
Right.
So when you say, how does it affect it and how, it's dramatic because
Well-
steel can go high very quickly.
Well, the tariffs were outrageous.
Yes. The tariffs, when it first started, they were negotiating back and forth, and it would go anywhere from 15% to 50%.
Well, and you didn't really know at the time when you were purchasing, by the time it got here, what it was going to hit at.
Correct. Yeah, because the way that it was set up is the tariff wasn't actually enacted until it hit the United States to the port.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at the time that you purchased it, it could be 15%, and by
Yeah.
the time it gets here, it may be 50%.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, a lot of that is, you can't buy everything here in the United States. I mean, let's face it, we don't manufacture everything here, but
Yeah.
a lot of that also brought a lot of our business back to United States
Right.
suppliers.
Oh yeah.
Because we always have tried to use U.S. suppliers.
Yes.
We don't. I don't try to outsource anything. Unless I have to. Overseas. Just because I like to support United
Yeah.
States
Absolutely.
companies, obviously. But I mean, let's face it, we don't manufacture everything here, so
Sure.
you have to buy some stuff. But
Yep.
but yeah, it was very volatile. I mean, it's stabilized somewhat now.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it was first going around, and it was pretty wild.
Well, and then even just of how I don't think people think about it this way. They don't think about it as deep as it goes. But yes, we don't have to get hit with that until it gets here. But then also like FedEx and all these other people are also charging stuff as well. So it was like, where are you really paying it to or at?
Yeah, well, you're actually paying it to a lot of sources.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of hard to
Yeah.
even like track or get a footing of what was
When it first started, it's a little bit more clear now.
Yeah.
But yeah, when all that first started, we never had to deal with that, so it was all new to us. So, yeah, you would get an invoice from FedEx or whoever, a logistics company, and you would be like, well, I don't even know who this is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then you have to investigate, and then you find out after you backtrack it, these were the guys that stored the merchandise, while it was there. Or,
Well, and I also feel like during that time period when it was new, like the holdups in customs increased as well too.
Well, yeah, because what happened, of course, this wasn't anything new. I mean, everybody had a lot of stuff
Yeah.
already out there, probably. Like I said, I mean, not us, but you take somebody that buys a lot of stuff from over there, and they're just, as soon as it gets here, we want to get it because
Right.
they
Right.
knew it was coming. Well, customs, they're only going to go so fast. They're not going to,
They do not care
No,
how fast
but-
you need your stuff.
But also, I mean, they're doing us a good service because they're checking for
Sure.
things
Yeah.
that shouldn't be in there.
Yeah.
So you get random X-ray scans and delays and stuff like that. But the biggest thing is everybody, when this first started, they just jumped out and bought a bunch of stuff while it was still cheaper, to try to get it here before all that came, and it was
Yeah.
like a big influx of ships, and they just didn't have the manpower to get them.
And I think
processed
it was
quickly.
it was a blessing from the Lord too, that kind of before the tariffs had increased, we had started to bring a lot more manufacturing in house. So the burden of that was not as big as it would have been if we would not have increased our manufacturing capabilities.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
we got our laser in 2019.
2019, yeah.
Yeah.
2019. So we brought a lot of that in house around that time
Yeah.
period.
Good point.
Yeah, as far as metal fabrication and machining processes, pipe manufacturing, stuff like that, that's all in house now. I mean, obviously, we don't have our own casting, forging, and
Right.
so we have to get castings and forgings and plastics and polymers done other places. But other than that, if my motto is, if we can do it, it's going to be done here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just to provide some clarity too, when you're ordering raw materials, another part of that too is you're also checking our finished good part numbers. And like when we're getting low on our finished good part numbers in our warehouse, you're placing a PO to production to then rebuild up those part numbers in our inventory.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a lot more for your job than just raw materials for
Oh,
production.
absolutely. Yeah. It's keeping track of inventory.
Yeah.
It's reorders, because it's a cycle, you don't want to, like you said, you don't want to overspend. So you're constantly rotating inventory. If you, I try to at least, if I can rotate it every quarter, I think I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
So, that gives you, 4 rounds per year to cycle your merchandise. And, not only that, but I mean, you just, space is valuable. So,
Yes.
we don't want to run out and buy a year's supply of stuff and have to struggle around and try to find a place to
Right.
put it. So yeah, constantly trying to rotate inventory. Plus, it also manages the monies, so you don't overspend and overextend that. So you constantly have a rotation. It's just a circle, really.
Yeah.
So to get to the fun side of the business, Mike, I know back in the day you also bought an YJ and you built a YJ and you were kind of rock crawling that some.
We did. I bought when I first came here, I never thought about ever buying a Jeep. I was always a truck person. Well, when I came here, the first time I ever saw rock crawling in my life. So, I kind of got interested in that and built a Jeep and went out to Moab several times and actually got to take it to SEMA one year.
Oh,
And,
nice. I didn't know that.
yeah. So,
And it was in the right color. It was red.
yes.
Oh.
As soon as I bought it, everybody was ecstatic because it was red, and I believe it was your dad that was like, we need a YJ for SEMA anyway. So
Well, there
we
you
built
go.
it up for SEMA that year, and after that, took it to several rock crawling events and stuff like that. And life
Sure.
happens, and
Oh, yeah.
it's. I don't want to say I grew up and grew out of it because that's not true, because I still love doing it because we
Yeah.
go to the UA and Moab and all that still. It's just now we have so many company vehicles
Yeah.
that it all works out to where now you can just pick one and go.
Well, and I think too, just from the history that Evan and I've gotten to learn about, and for those of you that started in those earlier days when everything just like blew up for Skyjacker in the Jeep world, was so many more of y'all got to like go out and play, I guess I would say. But I think then the longer you guys stayed, the more job responsibilities that you got. So then it was even harder to leave the office to some extent.
Right, and
Yeah.
that's why I say, going back to the YJ, when I say things happen, it's I was not in sales anymore at that time. I was in purchasing,
Yeah.
so I didn't get to
Go to the events.
I didn't get to
Yeah.
go to the sales events and things like
Sure.
that and display my vehicle and things like that like I was previous, which is fine because like I said, I got the job that I wanted.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but yes, it was it's a lot of work, and other than big events like SEMA and stuff like that, I pretty much get to stay here.
But you have
Yes.
been on UA with us, past 2 or 3 years?
Yes, I have been on the UA for the past 2 years, and I do love that.
That one's a blast.
That is a good time. And part of that is I get to see a lot of people that I saw back when I did go to the shows and
Yeah.
things like that. But yeah, it's a good time.
So
Plus,
just for
plus I
some-
get to hang out with
Yeah.
Yeah,
Evans and
outside of
that.
the office.
Yes.
And just for some context, when we say UA, we're talking about Unreal Adventure.
Yep.
It's a 7-day trip, roughly about 1,000 miles on pavement and off road for a week. We camp 3 or 4 nights, stay in a hotel the other. So you've been Dad's co-driver,
That's
and
right.
so it's been Dad and Mike and me and Joe have been going, and that's been a party. It's been fun.
It has.
Yeah.
It has. The biggest thing is like I said, you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
You don't know where you're ending. But you see some beautiful country.
Oh yeah.
You hang out with some great people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, this past year we were in Oregon. We were driving up the 101 coast, and we did a co-driver swap. So Mike hopped in with me. We were sitting in the parking lot. We look over at this Oregon coast, and there's just like a whale down there in the ocean,
Yeah.
like blew up. And we were literally driving off when we saw it. So like we told everybody we saw it. And, like Joe and Dad were like,
were so
"What? Why
mad."
didn't y'all tell us
Yeah.
y'all saw it?" It was funny.
Well, and also to give Mike some social media credit here, he has a viral video from his first year.
I do have a viral. Well, I'm not sure. I think Evan has a viral video, but
No, you're Mr.
No, yours
Million View
is.
Man.
It was just funny because we have the vehicle, the Jeep that Mike rides in is on 42s. It's on coilovers. Like it's a big big boy, and when you're out there and you're flexed out and you're up an extra 3 feet from the ground, Mike had this stool that he hooked to a rope and he was bringing it in, and it was a big joke, really, but Joe got it on film, or Evan did, and we ended up posting it, and it was, everyone just thought it was hilarious. So Mike was always our social star from UA.
Originally, you know, when I put that stool in there, it was just a collapsible stool, and I put it in there just in case something happened out on the trail or wherever. I could step on that and get over into the engine compartment or engine bay or wherever. And then it turned into, you know,
well, didn't the step go out? Wasn't your step? Didn't it get hit?
Well, I was going to say what turned out
I don't remember.
What turned out was my driver destroyed the passenger side rock slide.
That would be the El Presidente.
It no longer functioned.
So
then it was then I just happened to grab a piece of string, I don't know, a piece of little small rope or something, and I tied it on there. And because sometimes when you're articulated and you need to get out and spot or whatever,
yes, you're like this.
It's a pretty I mean it's up to my head. So it was a pretty 6 foot drop or whatever.
Yes.
So I would just drop that stool out.
Hey, it was a
stand
great
on that.
stool though. It was so good. I even bought one for my wife for my
Yeah.
Jeep when my Jeep's done.
That's what I'm saying. It was actually practical. Just the way it was videoed was hilarious.
Well, we were demonstrating the function of it and how we were going to try to actually manufacture it and patent it, but.
Well, I think the funny part was that when it got videoed, he was doing it as a joke, and it was actually like on flat concrete. It wasn't like flexed
we were in the
out.
parking lot.
Well, Evan and Joe were like, they were like, what are you going to do with this? Well, let me show you. I said that just in case because at that time the rock slide we had already come back from the trail, and the rock slide
Was not
was
working.
destroyed.
Yes.
And I was getting in and out of that thing all day.
Yeah.
So
It's
then
a lot.
I
out there.
remembered. I said, I have that stool. I'm gonna rig that up. So I was just kind of demonstrating what I was going to do the next day.
Yeah.
And
Leave it to them, too.
Unbeknownst to me, I did not realize that I was on camera. And then the next day, I find out I'm I don't know,
Million
Mr.
views
Million
overnight.
View man.
Hilarious.
So,
that was funny.
that was a hoot.
Yeah, that's not a bash on rock slide engineering either. That was a
No,
driver
no.
error.
No. I will tell you right now, those things took a beating.
Yeah, they did. They're awesome.
They are.
Well, but also UA is not an everyday basic trail. I mean,
No,
y'all are
we're
wheeling.
constantly on them, pivoting off
Yeah.
rocks. I mean, it's constant abuse all week.
Yeah.
Almost, yeah.
Yes, it is. It is a full week of nonstop. off-road.
Legit 9,
Yeah.
10 rated trails.
Yes, yeah. It's very meticulous and it's some of those trails. If you don't do the right thing, it turns out bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be checked in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've thankfully not had too many.
Got to be focused in, and that's
Yeah.
part of the reason for the co-drivers and things like that.
Yeah.
Where we can get out and spot and see things that the driver can't see.
Yeah.
So that helps.
Well, being able to get out of the office, I know for us, and we're the youngest ones in the group, it's so refreshing, and I feel like almost re-sparks that, just like the drive for it all and the enthusiast side of it all. Not that we lose that, but sometimes you get so bogged down in like the business day to day that when you actually get out and realize like this is what we do this for, it really helps like reboost and like just give you that sense of purpose again. Has that helped at this stage of your career here, almost 25 years in, to get back out there?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I was going to say, as far as the ultimate adventure goes, my favorite part is hanging out with everybody and doing the off roading. That's great. But like Evan said, we travel so many miles and we see so many people, and most of the people that we pass, they don't have a clue what we're doing. But when we roll into their town, it's like they know something's up.
Yeah.
So we do fuel stops and things like that. And I'll tell you the greatest thing that I love is being out there and we stop at the fuel stops and the little kids are looking at all looking at all the rigs, and we usually have a little goodie bag with some of our Matchbox or Hot Wheels in there, and you just see a kid light up because you give them a little Hot Wheel or a Matchbox car. It's
it's like the
Oh,
coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Well,
it
and
is.
hopefully that just fuels, enthusiasm for that kid for
Yeah.
this stuff. Building future customers is
Yeah,
really
that,
the hope.
that
But-
child or that, especially
Yeah.
that parent will,
Yeah.
will remember that for forever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
I
I know if I was a kid and I was in like Western Row and all of a sudden 30 rigs that on 40 and 42-inch tires came rolling
Yeah.
through, I'd be like, what is that?
And such
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
builds too. So
Yeah.
it's like, whoa, what is going on?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's fuel stops. Of course, we have to stop because we're camping. We got to stop for groceries and things like that. And
Or
when we stop
Pop-Tarts.
in there. We pretty much take the parking lot over.
Over.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's kind of like a touring process every time you stop.
So,
it-
yeah,
it's good.
talking about groceries real quick, Mike had never had an Uncrustable before.
Which blows my mind.
I had no
So
idea.
we
what
got
an
a box of
Uncrustable was.
Uncrustables on UA, and Mike really liked the Uncrustables.
That's a pretty good little treat. It is.
Do you keep that special for UA, or did you buy them when you got home?
I do not buy them when I get home.
Smart decision.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't really know the expansion of the variety of Pop Tarts and
Sandwiches and
sandwiches and Uncrustables and things like that
Yeah.
until I went on the UA.
Joe has to detox off Pop Tarts when he gets home
Yeah,
from UA.
so-
yeah, we don't really eat that well when we're on UA.
Well, you can.
you can't.
It's
yeah.
really it's snacks, and then if we get to camp at a good time,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have some freeze dried meals that I use a jet boil. I mean, that's the best meal that we have.
Because what you have to understand is when we get there in the morning, we have the drivers meeting at 7 or 7:30, and then it's roll.
It's roll, yeah.
And we usually sometimes we don't get into camp till 10, 11, 12 o'clock
Yeah.
at night.
Yeah.
And like
Most
I
of the
said,
time it's 12, 14-hour days.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, normally when I get to talk, if y'all have signal,
Yeah.
when I've talked to people, everybody's just white by the end of the day, in
Yeah.
a good way, but just
Yeah.
Oh
white.
no,
you know?
it's definitely it's a good tired.
Yeah.
But the last thing you want to do is
Worry about food.
Is worry about
Yeah.
cooking something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's so funny. I would not survive out there on Pop Tarts.
Oh yeah, you would. I didn't think I would survive either, but yeah, you will. But yeah, the Uncrustable
Oh,
pretty good.
I have to tell on Joe. I'm not kidding. Kylie caught him red-handed. She was in his room, which is like his space of the house, like extra closets, because I take over most of that in our area. But she was looking for something. I don't even remember what it was, and she was like, "Mom!" And I come in there. I thought something was wrong. She was like, Joe has Pop Tarts hidden in his drawer. He had a box of Pop Tarts in his drawer, and he was
That's
like,
funny.
"Mallory, I wasn't hiding them. I just know that you don't want them in the house."
Yeah.
And so, yes, that is me. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
hilarious.
And so, yes, Kylie was like, "I caught Joe hiding Pop Tarts." So
I'll have to
it was
remember
after
that.
a UA,
Yeah.
like legit. So
Yeah, it takes me a little bit to get back in the method of eating right after UA. Because it's like, all right, we have water, we have a surplus of energy drinks because we got to have those.
Yes.
We have Uncrustables, Pop Tarts, and like Cheez-Its or something. And like
Yeah.
that's what we eat for the week, basically.
my gosh.
Just grab a service station chicken tender every now and then
Yep.
if we stop.
Yeah, you
for
got to be
gas or-
careful of some of
yeah.
that.
Man, we stopped at that one gas station. What was that? 2023. We were in West Virginia or something like
Yeah.
that. That was.
Yeah, that
now
was.
I was also starving, but that
Yeah.
was the best fried chicken I've ever
was.
had in my life.
Yeah.
I
We've
mean,
wiped them
ever.
out of chicken strip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
They had like this whole display, and I don't know, it might have been 100 chicken strips in there, but
wiped them out.
it was empty.
Oh yeah.
Hilarious.
It was
After
empty.
Well, there's
30
a lot- I was
guys or
gonna say-
50 guys.
Yeah, I'll say
getting there.
after 30 rigs go in there
Yeah.
and they find
Yeah.
out they've got fried chicken and we've been eating Pop Tarts and
Yeah.
bologna sandwiches.
Yeah.
for
We
3 or
have
4
access to real food.
Yeah. We were on that.
They're like, dang, y'all make another trip back through
Yeah,
here. Okay, well, to wrap up, I think one of the ending questions that we want you to give us some insight on is with doing this job, you've been here for 25 years. You've done the purchasing side for how long?
I started the purchasing in 2013.
Okay. So a decent amount of time, especially
Oh,
being at the
absolutely.
same company, like you really know the ebbs and flows.
Yes.
And so what is something that you could give advice to for about money and trends and things like that? I think we've touched on it some, but like what's your closing statement for any business owner or anybody who's wanting to get into what you do?
Well, the biggest thing I would say is, again, spend the money like it's your money.
Yeah.
The other thing is watch the markets. It's again our whole industry is based off of oil prices, basically.
Yeah.
Tires, big 42-inch tires, like we talked about, is petroleum based. Everything's petroleum based, so everything is volatile by what the market is doing with oil. So you watch it. Again, you also watch your sales trends, because even though oil's high, you still got to have merchandise, so you don't want to run out. But the biggest thing is trust in what you do.
Yeah.
Make the decision that you feel like is best for the company. You're not going to win every time,
Sure.
but what you try to do is keep the losses to a minimal.
Yeah.
And when you lose, don't lose big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I look at it like the stock market. When steel prices are low, you buy a little more, you have a little cushion.
Yeah.
When steel prices are high, you buy just what you need,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just enough. Yeah.
just enough. So, with that being said, the biggest thing that I would take from this is having people like you at Skyjacker that trust me enough to do what I do,
Right.
and because I spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if you put somebody in there and they don't keep other things in mind, as far as the monies, and I have to keep in contact with the accounts receivable and
Yeah.
all that, of what's coming in, things like that,
Yeah.
because things can get tight when the economy gets tight. So you just have to tighten up, and then when things are opened up, you open up more. So it's just a trend thing. I've been doing it long enough now that I kind of got a pretty good grasp on it.
Sure.
But the biggest thing is having people like you guys here at Skyjacker that just trust me and let
you do your
let me do
job.
what I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have anybody nagging me about why did you do this, why did you do that,
Right.
So I must be doing something right.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I think that again just goes to show how blessed that we are for the employees that we have.
Absolutely.
Because the more and more the years go, especially in our industry, the less and less of the same people that you see. And so we're super blessed, again, to have long-term employees, to have you here. I tell everybody who's been on, who's a Skyjacker employee, you're never allowed to leave. It's a secret clause that was in the contract that you
Yeah.
signed. You just didn't know, no. But
Yeah, Mike, you're a core team member here,
Yep.
man. We appreciate you and your hard work and everything, and
thank you.
thank you for coming
putting
on
up
today.
with us,
Yeah.
and for putting up with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
also
I
a
don't-
big task.
Yeah, I don't let you guys stress me out. Remember?
Oh my gosh. Oh no, that needs to be your biggest piece of advice. Please give the best advice that I've ever received up here. You're not going to stress me out.
No, you're not going to stress me out.
That was funny.
Look, I tell my wife all the time, because she kind of gets upset with me sometimes because I don't give the details of my day. How's your
Sure.
day? How's your day? Well, I learned a long time ago by doing 17 years of retail that when I was a manager of an auto parts store. So when I turned the key on the door, I was done.
Yeah.
You just gotta forget it, because otherwise you get so consumed with that stuff that it'll drag you down. So yeah, I mean, I would love to sit here and tell you that my day is wonderful and everything flows smoothly, but you guys know that
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
not
it's
the
not
case.
reality.
Yeah.
It is organized chaos.
Organized
Yeah.
chaos. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't, I don't let things stress me out.
And I can say, and I'm sure Evan has had some of his own experiences, but I have to get with Mike on a few things of what I do, of what he does that crosses over. And I will come in there full panic mode, as I am type A. Okay. Well, y'all know this. I have no calm bone in my body. And I'm just like level 10, like, oh my gosh. And he's like looking at me just deadpan, like, I'm like, give me something. He's like, you're not going to stress me out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, please stress out with me. So anyway,
Yeah,
I learn a lot from guys like you
yeah,
that are
there's-
here.
There's nothing that goes on that we can't handle.
Yeah.
Just let's sit down, let's talk about it, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, and turning the switch off after you walk out of the front door is an extremely hard thing to do, and something that I'm trying to get better at. But that is a hard thing.
It is very hard. It took
Yeah.
me a long time.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was in the automotive business for 17 years.
Yeah.
And worked my way up through management, and you wind up, you have a lot of people that you're responsible for,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and the more people that you're responsible for, the
Yeah.
more that burden seems to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just have to deal with it, and don't let it consume you. Go home,
Love your
visit,
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hug your wife, kiss your baby, eat your supper, and it'll be there tomorrow.
Go to the racetrack.
Yeah, go to the racetrack, go outside,
Hop on
shoot
the
your
tractor
bow.
for a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, tractor therapy is good. Tractor
That's a
therapy
thing.
is good. Yeah, so it'll be there for you tomorrow. Just,
That's great.
Life's too short to be stressed out.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mike, for being on today. We really appreciate you talking to us and
Yeah.
giving us some insight of the things that you do.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
All right.
Bye.